All right. Hello. Yes, I'm basically just working on a feature. And let's see if we can get a little bit further. I'm going to do a little bit of refactoring here. So I'm just moving some windows around. Let's put that down there. Yeah, it's actually, oh, what did I do here? It's actually pretty cool how it works, and I'm going to show you, but first we are going to create a branch out of this, because I'm collaborating with Alex on this, and we did the first iterations together in the branch, but then we started splitting up into different pieces of work, and then we rather have this feature branch we call preview mode scope 3, and then we branch out. Oh, I'm one commit behind. Okay, cool. So let's first see if we can make this thing run. Let's see. Let me just, oh yeah, we have this issue in development. I have no idea. It's how I think we use radix for components, and then our styling just breaks. But if I go in and I, for example, open a context menu and then I go back, suddenly the styling works. I have no idea what that is, and it seems to only happen in development. So I have no idea. Okay, so the thing we're working on here is you can now open terminals here. So now files are actually just what we call dev tools, which is pretty awesome. So if I open a file here, it's open here, but I can move it over here if I want to do that, and have my terminal underneath here, which is also pretty cool, and so on. But the thing we're going to fix is that these tabs have some common behavior. So like you can close it, you can close other tabs, and you can close all tabs of a panel. And I did an implementation for the tabs themselves, and I made a mistake. Because I'm passing like this array of context menu items, and what it should actually be is React node. That was my bad. And then context menu items. We can just do let's see, we're going to change this. Let's see. So we are going to check if we have context menu items, and if that's the case, we're going to use React instead of like JavaScript here, because it's just default context menu items, and these are also going to be just a React element. Cool. Menu items, and then this is going to be, let's see. So we're going to have, sorry, context menu items. It looks horrible, but context menu items, and then we're going to have this separator in there. Let's see if we can get this cleaned up. What's happening here? What did I do? Oh. Cool. So the contents, when we have context menu items, we add them first, and then we have a separator, and then we have the default menu items. And the default menu items has the closing and all that stuff, which is great. And then if we don't have these context menu items, we just add the default context menu items. Cool. And then this probably broke some stuff. So let's go and figure out where we use this. Not that one. Button ref, not even that one. Tabs. Oh, then we actually, wait a minute. Tabs panel. Hello, Roman. From Arizona. Awesome. What's the time there? It has to be like late, I guess. Would that be right? I was sure this was going to break something. Type check. Let's see. And the thing is, as you can see, we have the context menu up here, but we also have the context menu down here. So that's what we're going to fix. We're going to fix so that we have default items here as well, because we don't have that now. Yeah, that's something else. Yeah, that's something else. File edit. Yeah, this is old stuff. Like, we haven't deleted the old stuff yet, but that's all this file editor. Oh well. I just find it funny that none of the doesn't any of these have like the file dev tool tab? I know this has, yeah, context menu items. Oh, so I guess it, oh, okay, so React node can be an array. Okay, but we're going to change this. Okay, sorry, so it didn't actually give a type error, but I'm going to change this so that we actually use React for these context menu items. But there weren't that many of them. It just makes it easier to express dynamic nature, the dynamic nature of these. Because you often have, like, you might have the element there or you might not have the element there. And if you do that with just JavaScript, you have to like concatenate arrays and stuff, and it's just horrible to express. But with this thing, it's much nicer. Terminal DevTool tab. Here we also have some, yeah. So you see here, like concatenating that thing. But now we are able to just do this, and we can say if read only. So if read only, well, if not read only, and then we can just do this. That's what it was before. I messed it up. Let's see. Oh yeah, we need that one. Cool. So that's much better to express it like that, I think. 3:17. Yeah, I was going to say like late in the evening or like in the middle of the night. Why are you up at 3:17? It's like, yeah, coming home from a party or something. It's a long time since I was up at 3:17. Well, that's not right, but for a different reason. It was because of kids. So it's not that long ago, actually. But yeah, I prefer being up at 3:17 in the morning because I was out partying as opposed to crying from the bedroom. Oh, that's, so you're in the same situation. Okay, then I can totally relate to the scenario. 2 months. That's congrats. That is it the first one or? Let's let's see. Okay, so the thing that actually has the floating buttons is part of the dev tool. So we have this dev tool drop down, and this is the dev tool wrapper. This is where I wanted to introduce the default behavior, because we have something called actions. And currently these actions are all these floating buttons. So if we can have multiple floating buttons. That's the thing. So what we want is, oh, it's the third one. Wow, you're a brave one. Like we live very close to, like it's this, like our neighbors, they live very close, which is super nice because a lot of them are in the same situation as us. But we're kind of, and like the next door neighbor, they also have 2 kids like us, the same age, 2 and 6. And then we have the other family on the corner, which has 3 kids, and we are like, it's just amazing how they managed every day, getting through it, because it's and everything's like relative, I guess. But it was very rough going from 1 kid to 2 kids, that's for sure. Maybe it's not that rough going to the third one. But yeah, and I think like we're not getting enough kudos for doing parenting. Like nobody is telling us how insane amount of work it is to be a parent, and like how everything changes and how you kind of leave yourself at the doorstep, because all your attention is on the kids, and it should be. But you're not really prepared for it. And I think we deserve a lot more appreciation from everyone, especially from people who doesn't have kids, but also from like our work environments, from like the state, like everyone. Like I just need more appreciation for all the hard work of being a parent. Yeah, I can imagine it's a game changer. At least I have like more rehearsal, or been a bit. I guess like what you can predict is how it is to have the third one with the 2 other ones, but like raising just a isolated raising a kid, like you're pretty good at that on the third one. But it's funny to see these neighbors, because they like you kind of see, it's such a funny thing, this balance, where on the first one you're like 2 parents on a single kid, and it's your first parenting experience, and how you make a lot of mistakes, like not mistakes in the sense that you're doing anything wrong, but they do get maybe a tad bit too much attention and so on and so on. And then the third one is kind of becoming this kid who's just hanging around, because like as 2 parents, you just don't have the time to pay as much attention to the third one. But they have a tendency to grow up to become more like self-sustained, and they just handle things better because they kind of had to from a very young age, which is very fascinating to me. Just having the second one, at least for us, he's very different, and of course he has a different personality as well. So how much is personality, how much is being the second kid, how much is growing up in a different environment, because we live in a different house now, like it's a lot of factors. But still, I think the first one is definitely a try baby. Oh, what was I doing? Oh yeah, so we have these actions, and these actions are now actually, yes, these actions are the actual buttons here. So we want to introduce like this hamburger, which should be like secondary actions. So let's introduce, and we should use React node there. And secondary actions. So the thing I did wrong, I didn't write this code initially for these tabs. So I made a lot of assumptions. So I did a refactor where I removed this drop down, but then as I got down to the refactor, I saw that that was actually used other places. So I did a lot of mistakes. So I had to do like a hard reset and just go at it again. But that's a good way to learn. Yeah, Roman, please sleep tight, get as much sleep as you can, and yeah, and have a nice day. Let's see, actions, secondary actions. So what we're going to do here is these are the actions. Yeah, so this is just the stack that we show and don't show. So the secondary actions needs to actually be a drop down. I can't remember exactly how these look, but we have, for example, a file dev tool. Yes, we have it. Okay, so our dev tool dropdown contains close. Yeah, so this is what I'm wondering. Should it be? Where is this actually being used? Because I've seen it being used in other contexts. It's devtool, 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 devtool. What are these things? It's devtool, file devtool. And okay, so it's only devtools. I'm just wondering, where should the default behavior be? I think we should move it. So we don't do on close here. We rather make it part of the devtool wrapper. Or is this used outside of a devtool wrapper? Yeah, I think, okay, so this is about separation as well. So I think we should do that. We should make this only care about creating a dropdown, because it's called devtool dropdown. It's not called devtool dropdown with default behavior kind of thing. So what we're going to do instead, we're going to put the dropdown item. Oh, but it needs to have, oh yeah, sorry. So this should have a devtool dropdown. And then this devtool dropdown. Oh yeah, I can take a position, but I think we have the position here. Yeah, action bar position. Okay. Okay, cool. Wait a minute. Did you grab it? There we go. Position is, what's it called? Action bar. I'm not sure why we need action bar. Where is that being used? Oh yes, sorry, here it is. I have a feeling this is not necessary, because now it's just part of the... Okay, let's just keep it. And then we're going to have a default item here. And here we're going to have our default on close. So we're actually going to use, because I think maybe not now, we don't have the tab here, but we're going to pass it in. And then we are going to grab the dispatch layout, use layout dispatcher. So our onClose would be dispatch layout type close tab. Tab ID will be tab ID. So now we have our onClose, and then we need the other ones, which we can grab from, where's the tabs? Layout, tab button, where are the default? Close others. Yeah, let me just copy this. We're going to have the same stuff. But instead of context menu, we're going to have drop down item. And this tracker is track equals use analytics. And this would be default secondary actions. What are you complaining? Oh. This would be, yeah, so here we have to check. So if well, if secondary actions, we're going to do exactly the same thing. If we have secondary actions, it's going to look like this, or we're just going to use the default secondary actions. And this would be where we end up with default secondary actions. We start with the secondary actions, and then we need the separator. Do we have like a drop down separator? Then we have that here. No. Is there like a drop down separator? Let's see. Drop down. Yeah, nice. Cool. So this is basically what I want. And the only thing we need to change now should be to just fix these. So if we take a tour through the different dev tools, and like, it's so amazing how this changed, that makes such a more powerful UI, has cleaned up an insane amount of code. It's really fascinating. So we don't need actions here anymore. Just need to pass the tab. And that's the diff dev tool. It will be the same for the it will be tab. Nice. Oh, did the other one have that as well? Some unused things, yes. Preview. Find in folder. Dev tool wrapper. So these actions, I guess that's fine. It's more the order of things. So this doesn't have the tab, it just has the tab ID. We need to change that to tab. And we'll get that from the layout. And then we'll say tab.id instead here. Cool. And then we'll need to fix where we pass in. Where's the reference for this? Do we have it multiple places? No, that's just yeah. Well, look, do we have the tab here? Oh, thank God. tab. Nice. And then yeah, this should also have. Yeah, it doesn't have a drop down. Okay, so this is interesting. Unassigned port. This is passed down to the printer, which renders the dev tool. So this would now be. Yeah. So this shouldn't be like the children. Or should what's this drop down? Okay, we'll figure it out. Let's just start by this doesn't need panel ID anymore. Where were we at? Let's just fix the rest of these. Project setup. Do you get? You should have tab as well. The IntelliSense is a bit slow on this branch. I'm a little bit unsure why that is. I can try restarting it. But doesn't it have a DevTool wrapper? Oh, interesting. DevTool wrapper there. Oh, they don't actually have a DevTool wrapper. Does this have tab ID? No. Okay. Shell props. This doesn't even have a tab ID. But can't you? You can close it. Close and stop terminal. Where the hell is that happening? Oh, this is something else, I think. Okay, anyways, we'll just go get through this and then we're going to fix it as we see it. Empty dev tool. Does this have a typer? No. Okay, so let's not change if it's not necessary. This one needs to change. So this needs tab. Tab. Oh yeah, so this is interesting. I forgot about this. So we do want to have an on-close on this, actually, or an optional on-close. So when you actually do close it from the internal thing, by the way, I learned about this syntax from Alex. I wasn't actually sure this. I didn't know this was possible. That you can actually, like I typically write this, which isn't wrong, but it just emphasizes even more that it's like a method or function. Anyways, so on close, where's the on close? Cool, so we move that in there. So now we can actually react to on close. Yes, so we're going to remove these actions actually. This will be tab.id. Oh, interesting. And this is also, now it reconnected. We have some issue in our infrastructure where we have these reconnects happening. As you can see, it's not too disruptive, but we had a disconnect we shouldn't have had. And the WebSocket is just closing. as you can see here. And I wonder why. But we're doing a lot of tracking on this now, so we'll figure it out. Okay, git log dev tool, new terminal. It's so boring to refactor this stuff, but it's important. Don't need these actions. Nice. Huh. I think something is really slowing down this. Because I had changes there, but it didn't pop up. Oh, it isn't the simplest. It's really funny. Like, we're using React, and React is really designed around having tons and tons and tons of data that you just want to display. You don't have what we're building here. Like, this is not why React was created. And it has been a huge challenge to figure out how we want to do state management and how do we want to write logic, because some logic can be expressed so much better imperatively. But then how do you bridge that with the like declarative functional world of React? And I've learned a lot, because I've typically leaned on external state stores, which and built some of them, which makes things so much more straightforward. But they're not perfect either. There's certain things that React does really well. Yeah. But so there's still some legacy stuff, which was just bad decisions in retrospect. But what we're waiting for is really suspense to settle, because we have some really awesome ideas around how we want to structure our code. And it maybe not obvious, but yeah, this should be tab. But suspense does something which is one of our biggest issues, because we have a lot of state and we have these explicit states, especially around async stuff. So you have like a loading state and a possible error state, and then you have the loaded state. And every time we consume this, we kind of just want the loaded state. But then we make an assumption. So we often our components break because we make an assumption of something being there, but because of the way that component was mounted in the tree, it's not available yet, because it was maybe loading or it had an error or whatever. So you kind of have to choose to have those issues, or you have to explicitly consume the full state of the value you're trying to grab. So every time you have to check, okay, is this value I want, is it actually loaded? And then you render out the component, but then you actually have to write for every single component consuming that value, also has to express what if the value isn't there, what if the value has an error. And this is what suspense fixes. It allows you to conceptually just consume any asynchronous value at the point where you want to use it. There's no type issues. It's typed as if it's there. And then there's rather the suspense boundary that handles the loading and error state of any async value. That is the biggest value from my perspective. You can talk about like how it manages like smoothing loading states and stuff like this, but that's the true power. It's the typing and just being able to use any async value wherever you want. Yeah. Anyways, let's get this thing done. So again, tab. Let's see. Yeah, and related to that, also what we do is that we want these values to be globally available. So we provide them on a context, but then each value, or not necessarily isolated value, but like the feature, as we call it, it being like Git or branching or whatever, it's provided on a context. But what we really want is to just have all these different values available globally, and then you can rather have like a global cache store where you can expose any value, and then you use suspense to go and grab that value. And then there's a question like, how do you deal with setting the initial async value? When should it be updated? What if it's tied to an initial value coming from GraphQL and it should be tied to a subscription, and so on and so on. But the thing is that suspense kind of clarifies that concept, that you can just have a cache store instead of like thinking state stores and stuff. And then you avoid having multiple providers. Like if you, but still, like you can use an external state store like Redux and stuff like that, which deals with this kind of stuff, but it doesn't give you suspense in the same sense. That's funny, it rhymed. Okay, anyways, that was a lot of abstract blurting. We're going to look more into that as suspense stabilizes. Like we have done a lot of exploration on that, and we have something we can use to write the code the way we really want to write it. But since suspense is still experimental, we don't jump into that quite yet. But it's on the list. Okay, so now we have actions. So these should be, yeah, and then we have the DevTool dropdown. And we don't need that, but we do need these ones: close and stop task, restart, save to config. So these we want as secondary actions. Nice, so we can actually secondary actions, so those are like part of the tab ID. Did I do something wrong? Drop down item, drop down item, drop down item. Oh, was that all? No, what did I do? I did something. So this should be, what the hell did I do? Oh, these kinds of errors, like syntax errors, they make me upset. Because now we have the drop down item here. That's perfectly fine. And then we have these optional ones. Oh, is it this one I'm lacking? There we go. Tab.id. Tab.id. This is nice weekend work as well. It feels bad, like spending so much time refactoring stuff like this during the week, because we are really focused on providing value, and you can very easily argue that this doesn't bring that much, at least not important value as of this moment. But for me personally, as a developer, I want to do it right. Nice, this already had the tab. And then we have tab. And we don't need... Okay. Okay, so this is interesting. This is the other thing. The drop down button, which goes into the preview. Okay, so I think actually this one should have like a drop down item of being able to close it. But it should be an actual item now, because now that item is not by default in there. So then we have on select. And this will be close. Yeah, we'll need to figure out how that should work. This needs to be tab. Yeah. And then terminal dev tool. And then, so I think this one should actually be part of secondary actions. Yeah, as I said, we need to review all of these. Oh, cool. Okay, let's do the type checker again. I should really remove do we even like file editor? I don't think we even use this now. Yeah, I think I can remove it. Toggle document view button. I think, oh, but we don't have that one. Okay, let's just keep it. It's kind of annoying because we get a lot of type errors on it, but we can ignore that. So we have the file that, oh. Yeah, we have the tabs panel. This is, yeah, this is where I was not hoping, but thinking it would break. It should, because we need to pass in the actual tab instead of the ID here. We don't need the panel ID there. Cool. And then we have use layout utils. Yeah, this is yeah, I think we just have to do as a relative workspace path. Cool. Let's close all of them. Let's see what happens now. Close all tabs. Boom. Nice. And now we still have, that's the thing. We weren't sure how we wanted to, like, if it should be like super flexible, but now we're keeping this panel to always be there, even though, because normally it will collapse if you don't have any tabs. Yeah, why isn't the readme opening? We have to figure that out. Nice, nice, nice. And then we can still go here. Let's open 2 of them. Oh, why isn't git ignore opening? Oh, I already have it open. those others. Nice. Nice, nice, nice. Okay, so this should work now. But readme. Yeah, why didn't it open previously? But what we can do here for the readme is that we can add, we can fix the one button we're missing, which is... Hey. What was I looking at? It was the file editor thing. Yeah, here we have toggle change file tab view. We need to figure out where to deal with this. Because we have this, like I can open the README here. It's kind of Inception, this whole thing. Do we have a README? There we have it. You see we have this flip. And now this needs to be a floating button instead. And that's the only thing we need, and then we can actually remove the whole file editor, which is going to be an amazing moment. But let's just copy this for now and go into the file dev tool. And here we have the experimental markdown preview. So this is how does this even work? How do we want it to work? Because if we have a file, can't remember how this works. So if we have a file document, oh yeah, fallback and tab view. What the hell is this? Oh, here we say file tab. That's not what we have anymore. Okay, so this is where it's going. Yeah, but that means this is where we need the state. Okay, cool. Let's just shove this into a comment for now. And then we need to change this because this is a tab. It's not a file tab. Then we'll see what happens to the typing. Oh, sorry, it is a file tab. Sorry, I thought it was the old stuff. So it is a file tab. But does this actually have document view? Oh, it does have a document view. Oh, I know now. I know now. What we want to do, we want to, yes, we do want to dispatch change file tab view, but we dispatch to the layout and we do an update on the tab where we change the view. So that means, where do we do the wrapped dev tool? I guess that's, oh, okay. That should be here, right? Yeah, DevTool. Okay, cool. So it shouldn't be here. It should actually be in the DevTool wrapper. But how do we evaluate if it should even be there? Oh, extensions with toggle view. Okay, let's just move this into the index file. This is where it should be. So we can do this. And then we can keep this one. Where does file type come from? File type, and this comes from tab file path. Now we know if we want to show the toggle button. And then what we want to do is we want to add actions, show toggle button. We're going to add a drop down item here. And I guess we can do the trick like this. And yeah, how do we actually show? No, wait, this is not a drop down item. This should be, let's look at one of the others. I can't remember how this looks. Terminal dev tool. That's secondary, but we also had actions, taskboard dev tool, action bar position. Didn't one of them actually have actions? Yeah, here we go. Close that one. Here we are. This is the kind of thing we want to show. So tooltip would be I guess toggle view, and this is a DevTool button, and here we have the icon, which would be dynamic, and this would be a tab, and then one click should just be toggling the thing. So this would be dispatch layout, dispatch layout equals use layout dispatcher, where the type would be update set tab content. Is that the thing? That's a weird name. Oh yeah, no, it's not a weird name. We need a new one called update, which takes a partial of the thing. So we have tab ID, tab.id, and then params. This will be a partial of the params, where we now say view nice. This is perfect. This is exactly how it should be. I'm happy. So let's add this update tab. I would call it params, not content. I have no idea why it's called content. I'm just gonna change it, because you shouldn't be afraid to change someone else's code, right? Oh, that's actions. Let's see if we can rename symbol, or can I rename this symbol? Set tab params. I'm not sure if that actually worked. And then update tab params. This takes a tab ID still, but and then this definitely didn't work. params, and then we don't need tab params because we're already in the context of a tab. So we say params, and then we say params is a partial of tab params. I'm a little bit curious how this will work. If it actually understands the intersection, is that the name of it? Or union? I can't remember. Cool. So now we probably have some new issues, but let's just finish this one. Yeah, that one's happy. Because the thing is that these params, it doesn't know. Like it can be anything here, right? So we really want this to know the type. But I think this should be a different refactor because we currently have, you can see the typing here. We have both params and tab, but they are really the same thing. So I'm going to do a different refactor where that becomes a single type, and then find a better, hopefully a better way to express these types, because this isn't very type safe. Shouldn't call them params. It's just the tab, and then here we would require that you say the type, but then it's partial, the rest of it. So in that sense, it's like params, but you still, maybe we can do that. So this action actually takes, both of these actually takes, yeah, I think we can do that. So oh yeah, but it would need a generic. How would we do this? Okay, that's something you can explore another time. We're not going to spend time on that now. But okay, so this should actually work now, I think. Look at that. Oh, nothing happened. Oh yeah, we didn't actually implement the action. So that will be in the reducer. Set tab params, and then update tab params. And this will be params now. Oh, that's interesting. It actually is. Oh yeah. Yeah. No, we need to make this a bit more type safe. But we can do that later. State params tab ID. So we're actually going, yeah, it's actually going to be the exact same code. But I think we're going to change that later. What the hell are you complaining about? Oh, it's because it's a partial. Yeah, okay, so we actually do get a type issue here. What's the time? What's the time? Should we try to fix this now? Okay, let's just see if it works first. Look at that. Beautiful. And then we still have that thing. Awesome. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to delete the file editor, and then we're going to commit this just to get some closure. And delete file editor. That's amazing. Removing that. And this should still work. Look at that. Amazing. Cool. And I'm going to use my terminal for this because we're going to do a no verify. And then we're going to push it upstream origin draft festive thunder. That's a good name. Cool. So I want to fix this typing. So let's talk about this. So for layouts, tabs, tab types. So here we really have, so we split up the type and the params in different things, and I think we should just completely remove that. We're going to keep the tab, but we're going to remove the params. Like, I can't 100% remember exactly how this works, so we're just going to try it for now and see what happens. And we're not going to call this yeah, so we can export them as tab, but what we want is to remove. So we have, let's see, this is sandbox info params. We're just going to put them in there, and then we have diff tab params. Okay, we can just do this. Nice. Let's see which one of them breaks, and then we'll just replace it. Okay, so this will be base file tab params. Oh, what did I do? So first, and base file tab params. That's the way to do it. And then this needs to be there. That's perfectly fine. A document view needs to be there, but empty dev tool params does not need to be there. I'm so happy that my eCam software for streaming allows me to play music at the same time. I need music when I code. I simply can't code without it, which is interesting. There's a lot of stuff. Well, not a lot of stuff. Like, I guess reading or listening to an audiobook. I don't need music for that. But it's interesting how rhythm plays into everything you do. Like how you talk, everything. Even thinking has a rhythm. And music just, I don't know, helps you keep the rhythm in some sense. Okay, cool. So we have simplified the typing quite a lot here. Cool. So now probably a ton of stuff broke. Tab types. Where is it? This is also something that annoys me a bit when we have to make it focus better in the Explorer. Like, just clicking the file should make it scroll to the thing. This is layout. Where's the layout feature? I think it's because, is it because I closed it? No, yeah, cool. Yeah, that's something we should do. So now let's look at these actions again. So when we don't have tab params anymore. So when I want to set, and we can still call it set tab params, but I have to let it know like, I think we should just do add tab here, because the tab holds the ID and the mode. Yeah, and now the typing should be correct there. And what's interesting here now is that when we want to update tab params. Like we want to say initially that we want a partial of tab, but we can't really say that because we still require you to pass the type. How would we do this? So we can, I wonder if I can just say, I wonder if these mixes well together. So if I say pick type, so we need the type, but the rest can be partial. I wonder if that works. Let's try it. So where do we have the update tab params? Hello? Yeah, so this is also interesting. Like mode, this should just be a tab. Yeah, without omit tab ID. And then mode shouldn't be there. Oh, this is interesting. Anyways, why isn't update tab params? Didn't I call that from the... Did I use set? Did I make a mistake? Where's the dev tools? File dev tool. Here it is. Update tab params. Why are you failing? Oh, of course. My bad. Because it also has a tab, right? So we have to say when, where is it? Update tab params. We have to say tab, and then we have to put the typing in there. And tab like that. But the thing is, we never want the ID, so that should always, oh, this is interesting. Huh. Let's see how this looks. So when we want to update, yeah, okay, this is so interesting. So we want the tab ID, that's a string. And then we want the actual tab data, or we could call this params. Let's do this step by step. So what we want to update the view, and then we say tab, and we have a type here. So if we say the type of tab we want to update, it's interesting because this means we can actually change it to a different tab as well. This is really difficult to get right with typing. What the hell are we changing? It's the file. And then mode. Why is it only mode? Oh, because now, oh, sorry. So now he's saying tab, but that can be, why can't file tab? That should be view as well, but it's not. And that's probably because of the typing. If I remove, if I just say tab here, then we have the full thing. Fuck, how is this going to work? And even if I do only this, Like it just stops working. So I think we need to have, so maybe it's possible to use a generic here and then say extends tab. And then tab type. So we would do, okay, this is interesting. So if we do type, so this would be T, and then we would say params would be partial of tab and type T. Omit ID. Oh, this is complicated typing. How would this look like? So we say, wait a minute. This is completely broken now. What the hell? Oh yeah, I think this is because now we have action. Because now the reducer, yeah. How the fuck would you do this? You wouldn't, I need to create an actual action for this. Like if you have action creators, you can do this kind of stuff. You can't really do this here. Yeah, so like this won't work. Like we can't have generics like this. We actually need to. You can you do stuff like that? Like, can I just do this and then just give it a generic? No, that would be more awesome. Okay, so if we're going to make these tab params type safe, we need to make like action creators out of it. Yeah. But that kind of breaks the point. This is so interesting. Or we would have to have, yeah, you know what we can also do? We can create a type. Yeah, so we can create an action out of every tab type. But then we would have to implement okay, this is okay. So I should really create a diff view, but since it's Sunday, I'm going to try to do some TypeScript magic. So what we can do is that we can create a unique set of actions. How would we do that? Yeah, yeah, exactly. You know what we would have to do? Okay, this is interesting. We want to create a union for this type of action. So we have type, what's it called? Set tab params action. Okay, so we have this action and it's called set tab params. But we have to oh, fuck, did I come home now? Ah, just 2 seconds. It's just our oldest coming home and my partner is sleeping. Okay, so what we need to do is we need to take extends tab. And we don't even have to do that. We can just go through the tabs. Oh, this is gonna be fun. Okay, so I'm going to put this into its own set tab params. So what we're going to do, how will we do this? This is so interesting. So it would be type set tab params, but and here we would go through, this is so interesting, k in tab type, and we would say tab type, and what we have here is, oh, there they came. Okay, so I probably have to leave very, very soon. But what we can do here, we can say this is the type. We need a tab ID. And then we're going to say the params will be this object going through each type of tab. So for set params, we could say that it's I think we could actually just do omit tab ID. I think that's perfectly fine. And then update tab params. It will be more difficult because then we want to say update tab params. We still give it a tab ID. But the params here would actually be and it shouldn't be, you can say set tab and then update tab. And here it's more difficult because we want a partial. So we would first have to go through in tab type. So we're going through the types. And the thing we want to get out of this is the object, a union of each object we're building here. And we do that by just grabbing all the keys. But now we have a reference to the type. So now we can say it should be tab, and the type of tab is T, or sorry, we want to say tab extends type T. And here we really don't want to change the type of tab. What we want is a partial of the tab where we omit ID and type, or it will be never. Okay, now I'm very curious if this works. So let's just say set tab. Let's call it set tab, update tab. How would this work now? Did I remove the... Oh, there you go. So we'll say update tab. We have params, and it's never. Okay, that's not good. T in tab type. Tab extends. Why doesn't it? Why does it say that? Why does it say never? That's weird. Oh. Yeah, that's weird. It shouldn't say never. Tab extends type T. That is really weird. So if I say string here, what happens now? It still says never. That's weird. What if I just say T here? It should give a union of the different types. Yeah, and it does. Okay. Wait, tab? Why does it say tab? Oh. Yeah, now it gives these ones. That's correct. But when I did tab extends, why does it say, why doesn't that work? Why does it say never? It should be able to extend. Or maybe this is where we have to do T extends tab. And then we say T in but there it would be a union of any of them. Yeah, this shouldn't matter. I wonder why this fails. Oh, it's annoying. That's annoying. And I can't do ID or type because I need a type to actually. How should this work? Okay, so I'm going to try something else. We're going to say. And that's the thing. Like we have. This doesn't make any sense. Like, how can you update a tab by tab ID? You don't know what kind of tab it is. So when you update, like when you set it, you can change the type of tab, but you then also have to include everything. But if you just want to update a tab, you don't know, you don't care about what type. Well, you for fuck's sake. So what would happen if the type wasn't correct? Would it just not update it? It's almost like you have to pass it the tab. And based on that, you can. Yeah, like I have to go soon, so I won't be solving this, but this is very fascinating to me. Like this would be a lot simpler if we had action creators, but we don't have that. So I'm just very curious if you can solve this in a dispatcher. What I was hoping is that if I did this, what should happen is that we get a union of. But that doesn't make any sense because I'm removing the type here. So how the hell can it? It makes no sense. So what I could try is, maybe that's what I actually wanted to try. It's like we create and so based on each tab type, så ja, men hva skal jeg gjøre da? Si at de ikke kan ha på. Jeg sa at du sov, men kan du gå og skru ned? Skru ned da, skru av, så får jeg sove litt. Jo, men nå skal jeg hente Oscar, nå blir det jo eleven her. Skru ned lyden hvert fall, men bare ikke så mye musikk. Okay, I have to go. Fucking kids. Like they don't get empathy until, like, I'm explicitly saying your mother is sleeping upstairs, and then she turns on volume full strength, like it's, and they just don't have any, like they have such amazing empathy for certain like situations, but then just this empathy of other people having their own needs, they have absolutely no empathy for that. It's frustrating, but it's an age thing, like it's a physical brain development thing, so we'll have to excuse them. Anyways, bye for now.